Good morning, Year 6. Welcome to my first video for today. In this video, I'm just going to be doing a recap of the learning that you did last week based on our new unit on percentage. Okay, so I'm going to go through both practice 1 and practice 2. Quick recap, go through the answers so you can mark your work. Okay, so we're just going to start off, first of all, just by recapping the vocabulary. So what does percentage mean? Okay, so percentage means out of 100. Okay, and the way that we can remember that, okay, is in the word percent, there is cent, and cent means 100. Okay, so if you think about where else you might have heard cent, you've got century being like 100 years. Okay, so percentage means out of 100. Okay, and say, for example, if we had 100%, okay, it would look like this, and 100% is the same as a whole. Okay, and if I wanted to write that as a fraction, I could write it as 100 over 100, okay, or 1 over 1 because it's a whole. Okay, so if we just recap and have a quick look at the first question that you looked at the beginning of practice 1, to do with percent. You had here the tulips, and you were told that in a garden there were 100 tulips and 75 of them are red. So that means that 75 out of 100 are red, and as a fraction I would express this like this. Okay, so 75 over 100. And think back to our work with decimals and fractions. As a decimal, I would then write that as 0.75. Okay, and then as a percentage, okay, because I read it as 75 out of 100 is 75%. Okay, because that percent is out of 100. Okay, so it's 75%. You then looked through sort of three different steps. You looked at decimals to percentages, simple fractions to percentages, and then percentages to fractions. Okay, so I'm just going to do a recap on those before just going through the answers. Okay, so I'm going to start off just by looking at decimals to percentages. Okay, so if I had the decimal 0.56, okay, what I would do first is think about how I could express that as a fraction. Okay, so I can use my knowledge of place value and of decimals and fractions to help me here. So 0.56 as a fraction, I would write it as 56 over 100. Okay, which is 56 over 100, which is 56%. Okay, because 56 out of 100 is 56%. Okay, if I had the decimal 0.7, okay, once again, I'm going to convert it into a fraction. Okay, 0.7 would be 7 over 10. Okay, and if I want to convert that into a percentage, okay, I need it to be out of 100. Okay, so I need to convert that fraction so it is out of 100. Okay, and the way that I do that is think, well, what do I do to the bottom of the denominator to get to 100? Okay, I times it by 10, and then hopefully we then remember that I do the same to the top. So 7 times 10 is 70. Okay, so now I've got 70 over 100. Okay, now as a percent, I've got 70 out of 100. So it would be 70%. Okay, and then the second thing that you looked at was converting sort of simple fractions to percentages. Okay, so if I had the fraction 47 over 100, okay, I had to think, well, what is that as a percentage? Okay, it's already out of 100. Okay, so it's 47%. Okay, if I had the fraction 3/10, okay, just like we did here, okay, I need to think about converting that fraction so that the denominator is 100. Okay, so what do I do to 10 to get to 100? I times it by 10, so I'm going to do the same to the top. So 3 times 10 is 30. Okay, and then we've got 30 out of 100, which is 30%. Okay, and then the final step that you looked at was converting percentages to fractions. Okay, so if we had the percentage of 67%, okay, I think of that as a fraction. 67% is 67 out of 100. Okay, I look at that fraction. Can I simplify it? No, I can't. Okay, so it says it's 67 over 100. If I had the percentage 16%, okay, once again, I think, right, I've got 16 out of 100. Okay, but this time I notice 16 over 100. Okay, I can simplify that fraction. Okay, because I know that I can half or divide by 2 both 16 and 100. Okay, so I could half it to be 8/50ths. Okay, and I notice again, I can half it again. So I'm going to go half of 8 is 4, half of 50 is 25. Okay, so 16% as a fraction, okay, would be 4/25ths. Okay, so that's just a very quick recap of practice 1. We're now going to just mark practice 1, okay, so you can make sure you've got it in front of you. Hopefully we can see that there. Okay, so question 1A, you were having to count the squares to see what percentage was shaded or not shaded. So we've got 46%, 54%, 78% and 22%. Okay, questions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, if I hold that there, you could pause the video and mark your answers. And then we've got questions 8, 9 and 10. Once again, pause and mark your answers.